Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today we are going to talk about May 2021 Visa Bulletin which just came out today. I'm going to go through the side-by-side comparison as usual and point out some of the important things and important movements that have been happening in the last couple of months and what to expect in the next few months. I'll also talk about some relevant topics about today such as vaccination, and I will cover some important questions that I have been getting from my viewers. So if you are interested in this topic, watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. Now we are seeing a second surge of coronavirus infection that has come in 2021. 2020 we saw the initial wave and the second wave. Now we are seeing another wave that is coming, which is very hard and deadly. Especially in some of the countries like India, this has taken a lot of toll. All the hospitals are full, there is lack of oxygen, there is lack of vaccination, and there is lack of medication. People are really suffering. So the most what I can say, and this is not a medical advice, you should take a vaccine if it's available for you. If you are eligible in your country or in your location or in your state in the United States, you should definitely consider taking a vaccine as soon as it's available. I know the new administration has opened up the vaccination for anybody who is adult. That means anybody who is above the age of 16 or is eligible for a vaccine. So take an appointment and go and get your first shot. Now there are a lot of questions that even I had, so I had made some research, and to tell you the truth, and this is not a medical advice, but what I'm saying is any vaccine is good for you. It could be Pfizer, it could be Moderna, it could be Johnson & Johnson or any other vaccine, because here's what vaccine does for you. The vaccine does create antibodies in your body. It allows your body to prepare for an actual infection if it was to occur. So the first vaccine actually tells your body to identify this foreign object which is similar to coronavirus and prepare the antibodies if it was an actual infection. Now you have the antibodies from your first vaccine, and the second dose will actually prepare your body to actually attack something similar to coronavirus. So your body is actually prepared for the actual infection if and when you get it. Now some people will ask, will I get coronavirus infection after I get vaccinated? You could very well get infected, but what will vaccination do is keep you out of the hospital. It will allow you to survive from this disease. So you will be in much better shape once you get the vaccine. Now will you be infecting others? You could very well still get the virus and you could have no symptoms and you could be spreading it. But at least once everybody is vaccinated, they will have better chance to survive this virus. Please don't take it as a medical advice, but something that I just wanted to share. I took my first shot and I will be taking my second shot in coming weeks. So I highly encourage any one of you who are eligible to take this vaccine and not take it lightly. With that said, let's take a look at the Visa Bulletin for May 2021 which has come in today and compare it with the Visa Bulletin from April 2021, which was last month. Now remember, as I always mention, until the end of April, which is April 30th, you'll still use April 2021 Visa Bulletin. Although the May Visa Bulletin has come in, it doesn't take effect until 1st of May. Now as you can see on the left hand side, I have April 2021 Visa Bulletin, and on the right hand side I have May 2021 Visa Bulletin. Now let's scroll down to the family based section first. So this is the family based sponsored category, final action dates. Let me get this second section as well. So the left one is April and the right one is May. Now as you can see from the family based section, we have F1, F2A, F2B, F3 and F4. F2A remains current throughout the categories. All chargeability, China, India, Mexico, Philippines. It stays current as you can see on the right hand side. F1 slightly changes for Mexico and Philippines. Now Mexico only moved forward by about a month and a half, so 22nd February 98 to 1st of April 98, and Philippines moved forward by just about a week, which is January 22nd to 1st of February. So now, as we heard from Charlie Oppenheim in the last month, they have enough applicants for a lot of these F1 categories, F2B categories, and F3 and F4 categories. So these dates are not moving for a reason, because most of these visas are given out at the consulates abroad, and although we want to believe that consulates are open, they are moving quite slowly. Their appointments are moving quite slowly, because first thing, there is a lot of backlog, because almost for a year the consulates were closed. So when there is a lot of demand, which means lot number of applicants compared to the number of visas available in the family category, what it means is these dates are not going to progress a lot. So until the next fiscal year, which starts in October, I don't see these family based categories dates moving any faster, but we'll see what happens. If Charlie decides to move them faster, we'll see that. Now let's look at the second chart, which is chart B, which is the filing date chart. Now filing date chart in family based category also moves, because remember, some of these categories are still using filing date chart for family based categories. So as you can see, F1 has moved by about a month in each of these categories except for Philippines and Mexico. F2A has also moved about a month, which is almost current but slightly behind by a month. F2B category has also moved for Mexico and Philippines. F3 category has also moved only for Philippines. F4 category has not moved at all. So which tells, except for Philippines actually, it has moved by about 2 months. So what it tells is any of the family categories that are using filing date chart, it is moving quite slowly except for Mexico and Philippines. Now let's look at employment based categories for final action date chart. Now here I can tell you there should be a lot of progression for EB1, EB2 and EB3 categories. Say for instance, for EB1 everything remains current, and this has been current for since last month. So as you can see, even the backlog countries such as China and India remain current in the May 2021 visa bulletin. Now let's look at EB2. EB2 China has moved by about 4 months, from September to December of 2016. EB2 India has moved by about 3 months, from May of 2010 to August 1st of 2010, which is very good news for EB2 India. We are seeing consistent movement of 2 to 3 months in the last several months, and this will continue to happen for the rest of the year. Remember, these dates have to catch up with the filing date chart by the end of the year, which means by September end. So we can expect to see 2 to 3 months of progression for India EB2 category in the next several months. Rest all of EB2 remains current. EB3 for China has also moved from March to May of 2018, which is of 2 months progression. For EB3 India, this has moved by almost 5 months, from September 2010 to February of 2011, which is almost 5 months, which is incredible because EB3 has to do a lot of catching up. It has to go all the way until January of 2014, which is almost 3 years. So as you can see, there are 36 months to go forward for EB3 India in the next 6 months or 5 months. So you can see a lot of progression. You will be able to see a lot of progression for EB2 and EB3. EB2, I would say about 2 to 3 months every month until the end of the year, which is September, and EB3 India will progress by up to 6 months every month. I wouldn't be surprised if next month it is 6 months until it catches up to the filing date chart, which we are going to see in a minute. Other workers category has also progressed for China and India. As you can see, it has also changed by about 5 months for India. EB4 visa category has also changed for El Salvador from August to September, and for Mexico from February to March. It's current for the rest of the countries. For certain religious worker, it has also moved by the same amount as EB4. EB5 has remained the same for China, and India is already current, and it has moved by about 2 months for Vietnam, and EB5 regional center has also moved by about 2 months for Vietnam. No movement for China, and India remains current. So that's about final action dates chart for EB category. Now let's look at if there is any moment for filing date chart, which I don't expect to see any moment until the end of the year, which is September of 2021. And I think I'm correct. There is no moment. We can see all the dates are same for India, but as you can see, there are date changes for China. For EB2 China, the filing date chart has changed from January 2017 to July 2017. So they are progressing forward for China. For India, it remains same, 15th of May 2011 for second category EB2, and 1st of January 2014. So here's what I was saying. EB3 has a long way to go. It's almost 3 years to catch up in the next 6 months. So I wouldn't be surprised if EB3 moves forward by 6 months at a time every month for the next several months. So expect on Thursday they are going to post the new chat with Charlie. So I'll be making an analysis video on what Charlie has to say this month. So really, as you can see, EB1 for backlog countries of China and India remains the same, current. So it's a great news for EB1 India. EB2 is going to progress by 2 to 3 months every month for the next several months, and EB3 India is also going to progress by even more, say for a 6. So EB3 is going to progress for about 6 months for the next several months. So which is a good news for EB3 India and EB2 India. Now another thing that I wanted to say is what happens next year. Are we going to see 275,000 visas for EB categories that are spilled over from family-based categories from this year? Yes, I can expect to see those numbers. Now how close are we going to get to that 275 that was mentioned by Charlie? That remains to be seen. I'm a little bit pessimistic on those numbers, because as consulates are opening up, we are going to see a lot of visas being issued on the outpost borders. So we'll see where that number lands, but regardless, this is going to be a significant number similar to this year's number, that was 262,000 visas that were available for FY21. So any number, it's a good news for EB category India and China. I would expect that next year we'll see even more progression in EB2 and EB3. Well, for EB2 it may be somewhere around 2015 or 2016, but for EB3 it could land even further. Another thing to consider is if a lot of people are converting their application from EB2 to EB3, then we might see slowdown in EB3 post October. So basically they need, if some people are downgrading and some are remaining at the EB2 level, at some point they are going to balance out. So they are going to go hand in hand. So priority dates might get closer and closer for EB2 and EB3 India. That's just my speculation. Things remain to be seen, but I would say for next year you can expect to see EB2 dates progressing as far as 2015 or 2016, and EB3 also in the same time frame. Now processing time for EAD, that is a common question that I have been getting. There are a lot of applications that have come into the pool for 485, as you can see, and there is not much of a hiring going on at USCIS. So you are seeing a lot of backlog in H4 EAD, green card EAD categories. Some lawyers are doing some case filings against USCIS, so they are filing petitions, or in other words they are suing USCIS. That might be an option for you if you have some extra bucks to spend, but if you don't have that urgency to get that EAD, you might just as well wait for the EAD to come in the mail. But if you are on the verge of losing your job because of not getting your extension, then feel free to contact any of those lawyers to get your case in for getting your EAD processed earlier. Now one of the reasons why EADs are getting delayed for H4 is because of the biometric requirements for H4. Now if the new administration goes away with biometric requirement, which I don't see happening in the near future, there is still going to be a long wait for these processing of applications. Now in the Congress, I haven't seen much of a movement in immigration bills being brought to the floor. Now there are two bills that were passed in the House last month, but they did not hit the Senate floor yet. Government is extremely busy with this infrastructure bill coming out of the White House and other priorities that are taking place at this point of time. So if and when these bills come to Congress, I'll be sure to make a video on that. So be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification. So I hope you got some value out of this video. If you have any other suggestions that I should be making or any changes that I should be making to this approach of explaining the visa bulletin, please let me know. Or if you want some deep dive into any other topic, do let me know as well, and I'll be sure to make that video. With that said, hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.